Olivia Rios, Director of Operations and Programs at the LA Latino Chamber. We have a great webinar for small businesses this morning. Let me ask you a question. How many of you are aware that small businesses can have contracts and procurement opportunities for Los Angeles' biggest events in the next couple of years? Not only do businesses need to be contract ready, they also need to be certified. And with that in mind, the LA Latino Chamber has made a concerted effort to help our businesses level up by providing relevant content and training. Large, medium, and small businesses have the opportunity to be part of LA's history in the next coming years. So we have FIFA coming up in 2026, Super Bowl in 27, and the granddaddy of them all, LA Olympics in 28. Also, the Department of General Services and LA County have billions of dollars to purchase products and services that they need. And guess what? They buy these from businesses like yours. Most importantly, they select businesses that are certified. With that, our speaker, Jack Ochoa from Infinity GPC, will provide you with critical information that can help you determine which certification is ideal for your business. Mr. Ochoa has been in business and a community leader dedicated to supplier diversity and inclusion for more than 25 years. Before we start, we ask that you be mindful and ask questions in the chat box. This session is interactive, so you can raise your hand during the session as we go along. And a reminder that the session is being recorded and will be available on our website within the next 2 days. And with that, I'm asking Jack Ochoa to join us.
At this point, we're going to be clearing the fog of certification. So certification can be very confusing. It gets a little bit wacky where you're trying to figure out what certification is right for me. So with that said, we're going to be talking about the various certifications that are out there. There is one for corporations. There's one for public utilities. There's one for the local government as well as for the state government. And of course, the federal government also has its own separate certification. Frustration comes from because you're like, well, wait a minute. I'm being told one thing by one agency, but I'm being told something different by another one. So that's where you got to figure out, okay, which one makes the most sense? There's really only two options. One, because California as a whole is the fourth largest economy in the world. All of a sudden, you're like, well, wait a minute. There's a larger opportunity by getting a state of California certification that opens the door to the entire region. So look at it from that perspective, because there is one certification that the state of California does not recognize, and that's the federal government. So it does not recognize that certification. But I will tell you, it is a little difficult to do. People get frustrated with it because it's very labor intensive, because it requires a lot of paperwork. I want us to walk away from today is there is an easier way. You're a woman-owned business, that's considered diverse. LGBT, also considered diverse. Native American, also considered diverse. Veteran, technically is also considered diverse. Corporations like Pepsi, Walmart, PG&E, all the utility, AT&T. What I usually tell people is this. Think of some of the largest companies in the world or in the United States that started out as small. Everybody starts as small. Nobody just starts as a big business. Just doesn't happen. Is that nobody starts as small. I mean, nobody starts as big. Primarily corporations, not the local government. Local government focuses on small business. Corporations focus on diverse businesses. So there's the difference right there. So when you look at the screen, you're like, wait a minute, Disney has a small business? No, they have a diverse business program. So they're looking for minorities. So one thing that I found interesting about their application businesses to get certified as a minority-owned business, they started asking one question. Diverse businesses, they're also focused on small business, both diverse as well as small business. So look at the two that are on there. They have a goal to get to 50% spend for diverse businesses by 2030. What I want you to understand is that if you're looking to do business with the gas company or Edison, who happens to be amongst the top 500 companies in the nation, guess what? You got to get diverse. You got to get certified as a diverse businesses. So I think that's where a lot of us kind of have that, where do I go? Where do I start? And I think that's where you want to look at who are you targeting? This is on the screen, have a diverse business goal. So you want to make sure that you're interacting with these businesses that are Fortune 500 companies because they're looking. You don't know they're looking for you, but they are. So when we look at certification, I want you to look at it a little bit different. So what certifications are out there? So you have a national minority one, which is done here locally, here in Southern California, down in LA. That particular organization called the Southern California Minority Council. So they have a national certification that you can get from them. Unfortunately, they charge a fee. Just so that we're clear and transparent. Let's charge a fee. Charge about $400 depending on size your company. The bigger you are, the more you pay. So that's one entity. In the LGBT community, they also have their own separate certification, called WeBank, that also certifies businesses as women-owned businesses. I will tell you, out of these three, this is probably one of the hardest ones to do. Sorry, ladies, but this one is one of the hardest ones to do. This certification is probably one of the toughest businesses. They ask some really tough questions. I know one of the auditors of this particular organization. The certification is a little more serious because you're not only getting certified by the corporations, but you're getting certified also by the federal government. Have a disadvantaged business program that you can get certified with. So Maui County Metro does have a certification where you can get certified. There is a certification for veterans. The good news is that SBA officially took over the veteran certification. The SBA now controls it. So for the veterans that are out there, the certification is now easy where it used to be very difficult. So here, what I want to emphasize the size of the state. But the other one I want to emphasize is our region, which is right here in Southern California. As a region, we are amongst the largest in the world. So look at Southern California metro area as a region, and amongst that, we are amongst the top 10 economies in the world. So now, hopefully now you understand why there's such a hyper focus on working with small businesses in our community. Because the probability that a business is going to be diverse is going to be very high. So that's why Los Angeles has a small business program. Orange County has a small business program. Riverside County has a small business program. San Diego has a small business program. So our region has a focus on small business because the probability that in our area that they'll be diverse is pretty high. So the way that they anchor all of these together is by being, if you get certified by the state of California as a small business, then that opens the door to saying, okay, you are truly a diverse business, and that's how you get in the door. The one thing that I noticed on their application, they're not asking the question, are you a minority? Are you African American? Are you Asian? Are you? So they're asking those questions because they want to see and start tracking, are these businesses diverse? And that has to be something that is important to all of us because now it gets us in the door. So what I want you to understand is that, well, why did they do this? Well, when you look at certification as a whole, the federal government only recognizes the federal certification. They don't recognize any other one. But all the other agencies that are listed on the screen here do recognize, especially in California, they recognize the Department of General Service certification as kind of the way into the working with the townships, the municipalities, also known as cities, the counties, and these district governments. Now, you probably should be asking yourself, what the heck is a district government? A district government is like a school district, like the water district. So utilities like Delhi DWP, other ones like the one in San Diego, these ones are considered special districts. The one that shocks a lot of people is the LAX. A lot of people don't realize that LAX is a special district.
A lot of people don't realize that the Port of Los Angeles is a special district. So when you look at these things, you're like, well, what does that exactly mean? I thought they were the government. Well, they are, but because they generate their own money, they are considered a special district. So try to look at it from that perspective. It's a little bit weird, but it makes sense in the bigger picture. All right. So what I want to now explain is this eye chart of a diagram. Now you're like, well, wait a minute. We just talked about a lot when it comes to certification. So one of the things that I usually recommend is you always start with the easy ones. The easiest one that I know of that can be done, not only easy, but fast, is the state of California small business certification. So the state of California recognizes it. The county of LA has to spend $1 billion a year with certified small business. Los Angeles Unified has to spend about $600 million with certified small businesses. LAX, or also known as LAWA, has to spend $1 billion in upgrades for the Olympics. LADWP also has a small business program that is focused on about 25%. You also have the Port of Los Angeles, Pasadena, Long Beach, and many cities in and around Southern California. So this one not only is easy, but one of the beautiful parts about this, as a member of the LA Latino Chamber of Commerce, you'll get a chance to work with me one-on-one, and I guarantee you that you will be approved. Guarantee that you will be approved. Now, the only non-guarantee on that one is if your business is a $15 million business, yeah, you're not going to get approved. This is for a small business. That would be a business under $5 million a year in revenue or under $8 million a year in revenue if you happen to be in construction. Now, as I mentioned, there is federal. It's not something I do. It's not something that we're not. It's not a lane that I play in because it's very, very complex, and people get very, very frustrated dealing with the certification. You're welcome to give it a shot on your own, but you want to just, I always say, start with the small one because it kind of gives you a way in. So look at it from a time perspective. I've seen people start their federal certification and not finish their federal certification because it takes so long and they ask for so much paperwork. On the corporate side, there is a different certification you can achieve, and that one's done through the Regional Minority Supplier Development Council. That would be Southern California Minority. WeBank also has its own certification, National LGBT, and of course, the Veteran Administration also handles the certification. That one takes a couple of weeks to get done, but it can be done. I've seen people do this in about 8 hours, but I've also seen people do it in a couple of weeks. Now, the one that I want us to stay super hyper focused on here at the Latino Chamber of Commerce is this last box, the Public Utility Commission certification. That one is designed for minorities, women, veterans, LGBTQ. So specifically, this one right here is actually one of the key drivers that I know Olivia and Daryl and everybody at the LA Latino Chamber of Commerce always get asked, why can't we find more of the companies that want to do business with Edison or the gas company, but they have to have this certification? Have to. Do not go past go. This one is key. There isn't enough certified small business in this category. Now, this one takes about 2 hours to get done. Assuming that you do the homework, I've seen somebody do this in 30 minutes. But I give you homework if this is something that you want to do. Like, hey, Jack, I want to get certified as a woman-owned business or as minority-owned business. I give you homework, you get the homework done, and we'll be done in about 45 minutes to an hour. I've seen somebody do this in 30 minutes, but this happened to be a millennial and she typed really fast. So that's the difference, right? As I mentioned early on, Metro has its own separate certification. LA County Metro has its own separate certification. They don't recognize anybody's certification. They don't recognize the state. They don't recognize utilities. They don't recognize national. They don't recognize the federal. Metro has its own separate certification. We don't have to like it, but it is what it is. So, but it is something that I do recommend at some point as you're growing your business. Metro is a good one to consider down the road. So in order, You start with the state, we move down to the utility one, and then eventually move over to Metro if that's something you choose to do.
Aside from the state, what other certification is acceptable in many locations or with many entities?
So the answer to that is that's going to be the state of California is the
Mhm.
one that's recognized by more agencies.
Okay.
So the state of California is recognized just here locally for us. It would be the city of LA, the county of LA, Pasadena, Long Beach, in Orange County, San Diego County, both city and county, and the Port Authority. Again, another local one for us here is the city of Long Beach, as well as the Port of Long Beach also recognizes the state of California.
Mhm.
Also, Metro Link, not Metro itself, but Metro Link, which are the bigger buses, the bigger trains that run across back and forth.
Okay.
This particular list on the screen is something you'll ask about all the time. What are the documents I need? So the documents, as you can see, is very short. You're looking at 4 documents to get certified if you happen to be a sole proprietor. If you're a sole proprietor, you're looking at up to 3 years of taxes. So 2022, 2021, and 2020. Hopefully you have a Schedule C for your business. So that's what you're looking for. So now for those of you that, I'll give you an example. I have a young lady that's starting her business in San Diego, but she's just starting, I think like a week ago. She goes, Jack, can I get certified as a business? Yes, you can with the state. With the state, yes. Metro, no, you have to wait a whole year. So that's where it gets a little wonky. You're like, well, where can I start? The one you can start soonest is the state, because the rule is it's up to 3 years. That doesn't mean 3 years, it means up to. So if I start in business tomorrow, I don't have any taxes to show, but I have an EIN, and that's good enough. So that's where I want you to look at it from that perspective of, if you're a sole proprietor, yes, you can, up to 3 years of taxes and you're good. The other one for corporations and LLCs, you're looking at about 8 documents, 7 if you don't have any employees, but you're still looking at 7 documents to get certified. You'll notice on the other side, I have the minority one. The minority one is a little more involved because now they want they want to see evidence of legal residency, evidence of capital contribution, your resume, a bank letter, your operating agreement. They want a lot here. They want to make sure that you are in fact a minority owned business. Now, here's a shocker for you. And you mean, obviously, I'm not Mexican guy, right? I recently had to get a copy of my birth certificate. And to the shock of Jack, my birth certificate says that I am Caucasian. So I want you to think about that for a moment. My birth certificate says that I am Caucasian. It doesn't say Mexican on it. The good news is that on my birth certificate, it shows that my dad was from Mexico and my mom was from Mexico. So that's how I'm able to qualify for my renewal with the CPUC, because my birth certificate shows that my parents were from Mexico. Now, in some situations, you may have to go to your grandparents to get their birth certificate in order to prove that you are in fact Latino.
Also, Jack, one other thing too, if they're an out-of-state corporation, there's another whole process they need to go through as well, correct?
Yes, that is correct. Absolutely. So I want to make sure that that's why I said, you really, as I'm working with you and I see you get stuck, then I can help you to get through wherever we may be stuck. So know that that's where the value add of being a member is going to come into play. Now, this next one is just a kind of a snapshot of the national certification if you're so brave to do it. So I want to apologize to the ladies who now see that it's 68 documents to prove that you are a woman-owned business. So if you decide that you want to get your national certification from WeBank, it's 68 required documents to prove that you are a woman-owned business. So I'm sorry that it takes so many documents, but that's what national certification does. So, and by the way, they charge $450 annually to do this one. So that's outside of the support that the LA Latino Chamber of Commerce does or what I do. But know that if you decide, hey, this is something I want to do, we can have a sidebar conversation on this one. So now that we covered all these certifications, I want to just kind of go through, okay, what's next? What's the next step? Here's a snapshot of all the certifications that are out there. And it's a lot. The idea behind this particular workshop is we're going to work on the easy one. We're going to work on the one that gets you in the door. I often refer to that as the golden ticket. And that golden ticket is the DGS SBE certification. The goal here is that if you're not certified, we are going to get you certified. And if you happen to have it and it lapsed, we will help you to get your certification renewed. So the idea behind it is let's get you in the process and let's get you going.
So you have the federal certification. I didn't see that up there, but do you have to renew it every year or is it every 2 or 3 years?
The federal certification is every 3 years.
And then supplier diversity?
Is every 3 years.
Every 3 years. And DGS, I thought it was 2, but I could be wrong.
Yes, 2 years. 2 years, every 2 years.
Okay. All right, got it. Okay. And CPUC?
That one is every 3 years.
Correct.
So I went back to this document because I want everybody to see the documents required. It's not a lot, but the good news is that as part of what we're doing is you'll be getting a link from us and saying, hey, I want to set up an appointment with Jack to do this. And that's kind of the point of the class, is to be able to walk you through it so that as a member of the LA Latino Chamber of Commerce, you will get that link. And not only that is you'll get time one-on-one with me to help you walk through this process. And I won't leave you hanging. I promise you that. I promise you this. You will be certified as a small business. And that's the main point. We want to have you walk away with a certification that you can now take to pretty much any city in LA County and say, hey, I'm certified. So now what's next? So the next step is, well, one, we want to get you to get certified. We want you to set up a time with me to get certified. So what does that do? Is on the screen, if you want, you can take a picture of what's on the screen. It's an actual screenshot of my calendar. So as a member of the LA Latino Chamber of Commerce, you're going to get time one-on-one with me so that I can help you to get certified. So this is the direct link. So if you want to take a picture of this on your screen, as a member of the LA Latino Chamber of Commerce, and yes, I will be checking. If you get on my calendar and I see you're on my calendar, I am going to check and I'm going to call Olivia and say, hey, is this person a member of, in good standing, of the LA Latino Chamber of Commerce? The answer is yes. Then the appointment will be continued. Otherwise, I'm going to be calling you up and saying, hey, I need you to get in good standing with the LA Latino Chamber of Commerce. So we want to make sure that you are in good standing with the LA Latino Chamber of Commerce. If your membership has lapsed, we'll help you to get over the lapse and get back on board with the LA Latino Chamber of Commerce.
One of the benefits of being a member of our chamber is that we do provide you with resources. And, Jack, I can honestly say that Jack has been very instrumental in getting many of our members certified. His one-on-one is really ideal. And he'll guide you through the process. He'll give you a list of documents that you need that were shared here earlier, but his wisdom and knowledge is like spot on. So if I could say anything, your membership will cover the cost of being able to get certified.
What I want you to know is I want you to walk with some confidence that I know as we go through it, you're going to be like, this couldn't be this easy. So yes, it is. But not only are you getting this certification, I'm also going to help you to get certified with the city using the state certification. So you're not only going to walk away with the certification from the state, but you're also going to get certified by the city of Los Angeles as a small business. And you don't have to do all the paperwork, because what the state won, there is a little bit of a crack in the city system where I can show you, hey, click here, click that. And now you'll be certified with the state and the city of LA. And if there's time, we'll even get you certified with the county of LA. So hopefully folks walked away with some knowledge that they didn't have before.
Mr. Chairman, would you like to add anything to our conversation?
We did do a certification where we did, I think, 15 or 20 businesses all at one time. So it is a short process for the DGS. And again, it's critical. I mean, I'm bidding for work up here in my local municipalities, and the first thing they're asking me is, what type of certification do we have? Are we a local business? So there's going to be a big push, especially on our side, for legislation, working with the county, that we're advocating that even the new hospital bill, the AB 1392, that the hospitals are now mandated as of this year to start using small businesses, especially local and their community. So, you know, we're here to advocate on behalf of your business. If it's something that you need help with, legislative, or you need help getting in the door, that's where you use the chamber's influence to help you get in the door. We had a customer member of ours is trying to work to sell his goods to the hospitals. So we're making those introductions this week so that he can be successful. So we believe your success will be our success. And, you know, we know that whether you spend $1 or whatever it is for membership, you know, you got to have a rate of return, but we're here to see how we can assist you. So that's all I got to say.
My recommendation is start with the easy ones and get yourself in the door. Grow your business locally and then expand from there.
On another note, when it comes to CPUC and working with utility companies, you also need to be registered on their Ariba portal, which is sometimes a little bit daunting, but we are going to be having training in the next couple of months on Ariba. So if I were you, I would kind of just stay tuned to our next training session. I don't have a date on that yet. But that's also important because if you're not on Ariba, it's going to be difficult to kind of break into the utility space. Thank you, Jack, for the wonderful information. And once again, if you are a member, please reach out to Jack. Thank you for joining us today. You can sign up for any of our webinars at lalcc.org/events. Thank you for joining us and have a great week.